This episode of the Bayou Dragons podcast is proudly brought to you by Dragon Industrial Wrap.
Fierce. Ready for any project, no matter how big or how small. Dragon Industrial Wrap.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Bayou Dragons podcast. You're all in for a treat today. It's Matt here with you, joined by Porter and Tanner, and we have a very, very special guest today, Mr. Brian Sane. I'd love to list all of his accolades, but rather let him do it myself. I'll start by saying he is a,
Badass.
Brian, I know you really said you're not much on being a macho man, but it's hard not to say this without sounding like a badass, man. You are a sniper. You are a sharpshooter, sniper instructor. Man, you just have this long list. Go ahead and give it to us all right now, man.
I'm just old. I'm just an old fart, man. That's it. I just got bored and got old, Man, I was listening to, Toby Keith is, God love the dude. I got big memories of his bar in Vegas, with, rescuing a couple damsels in distress in that place. And I don't want to go into that here, but his cancer is killing him. And I saw here a while back, he was talking to Clint Eastwood, and he asked Clint Eastwood, how do you do it? Clint Eastwood's in his 90s, and he's still making movies and stuff, and he's like, how do you do it, And Eastwood told him, you just don't let the old man in, and he wrote a song about it, and the song is just heart-wrenching, but, not many things make me reflect anymore. I love children, love puppies, cool guys like y'all, that kind of makes me reflect a little bit. But that song kind of made me reflect. Just like, don't let the old guy in. Get off the damn couch and go run a couple miles, do a push-up, do something. Don't just, wither away. But, I guess I'm blessed. I've got, my dad died at 70 years old, still had six-pack abs when he passed away, so we had good genes, so.
I definitely don't look upon you as old fart extraordinaire.
Yeah. I'm 61, and I don't feel it. I tell people all the time, I look just like I did in except for my ink. I look just like I did in high school from the neck down, but this body don't wear out about 5 heads, So.
Whenever you said you were 61, I was like,
I didn't believe it.
Yeah, I was like, dude, the way you're talking, the way your demeanor is, the way you hold yourself and present yourself, talking to us, I'm like, this is one of the guys. Like, the only thing difference is his mustache has a little bit more gray than
That's
mine.
white. Yeah, I look like a anorexic Santa, with this beard. But, man, I've done a lot of stuff. Sometimes I think back, I used to ride motorcycles and rodeoed and, all the stuff we grew up doing, growing up in the country. I grew up with your dad, so, it's almost like it is family, really. And growing up like the way we do, we're all outdoorsy and all that. And, man, I always wanted, as a kid, to go either in the Marine Corps or Army Special Forces. And my old man he came up in the 60s, and he told me, he said, the recruiters are going to lie to you, and they're not going to let you do what you want. And I'm like, no, so I did pretty good on the ASVAB, and I went down, and sure enough, I was going to try to get in on a Ranger contract and go Special Forces, and the guy lied to me. There was some stuff he told me that wasn't right, and he kind of shied away from. So I wound up going into law enforcement. And but before that, man, I raced motocross, I rodeoed, I shot competitively for years. I shot long distance handgun silhouette competitions, and did real well with that. Growing up like we do, we just shoot. That's what we do.
Did you have because sniper? Did you deer hunt growing up, like when you were a child?
Yeah, a lot. A lot of the guys I grew up with were always had boats and nice shotguns and duck hunted. They lived the duck hunt. Some of you guys know them. I mean, they're y'all and the older guys, my age, they did the same thing y'all did. They either were in a duck blind with duck hunting every single day after school. Everybody had a shotgun or a rifle in their gun rack, at high school. It's not like that now, but back then, and nobody thought anything about it. Or they deer hunted big time out in West Texas.
Yeah.
I didn't have that kind of money. I mean, we just didn't have, my family didn't have the money to have a deer lease and all that. My dad worked in a refinery, so I lived in the woods with a .22 rifle. And I mean, I got tired of shooting squirrels with a shotgun because I didn't want to chomp down them BBs, with my fillings on my teeth. So I was shooting squirrels in the head with a .22. And I mean, I limit out every time I go. But that just carried over You know,
You kind of figured out you were good at it.
Well, I mean, I didn't miss a lot of squirrels, you know. So you know, I mean, it just it's kind of a natural progression, I guess. You know, I love shooting competitively and got into that. And then when I, you know, since the military thing wasn't going to work for me, and I got in law enforcement, you know, it was just a natural thing to go to law enforcement, and then a natural thing to gravitate to the SWAT team, and then a natural thing to gravitate to the sniper team above and beyond that. I never spent a single day as an entry or a react or perimeter guy on a SWAT team. I was sniper from day one, and wound up being sniper team leader, and I've been doing that. I became a peace officer in '89, and I went to my first sniper school in 1991. So, I mean, where were you at in 1991?
I was still like just a seaman.
Yeah,
so,
I was swimming.
Yeah, I wasn't even. Yeah.
Now, y'all were swimming?
Hell, Matt was still just a twinkle in his dad's eye.
So I've been sniper qualified since '91 and teaching ever since. So it's just, you know, man, I'm not, you know, it's just what I do, you know.
Yeah.
I work for a municipal police department, which is different than working for a sheriff's office. You know, you have different responsibilities, and the crime is much more compartmentalized. I mean, it's a whole lot of crime in a real small area as opposed to the county where you're getting cows out of the road and that kind of stuff. You know, we had serious crime in the city, and some pretty violent call outs, and I've been shot at 3 times at work. Got buddies been shot at more than that. Fortunately, those dudes, most of those dudes can't shoot, so for crap, you know. So wound up on the good end of that, but saw a lot, did a lot, and I did 20 years at a municipal police department, and just due to my background, I got hired away, and I went to work for Black Hills Ammo. I was chief of operations of Black Hills Ammunition out in South Dakota for about right at 3 years, and wound up going through a divorce, you know, one of those deals.
Oh, yeah.
Moving home, and went back to law enforcement. So man, I've been at it ever since. So probably all told, I got 33 years in law enforcement, and then that 2.5-year break with Black Hills, but I'm rambling. So
You're
Yeah,
good.
you on about that, man? You were, I mean, law enforcement's the backbone of your career. Is that if you go back and do it again?
Man, yeah. I mean, I like helping people, man. I was always that guy that liked to help other people, you know. And it's law enforcement's different now than when I started. The country's different. People are different. It's just a different dynamic. The whole country's in a different place, you know. And it's really weird. We used to have a lot of fun in law enforcement, and we were putting bad guys away. I mean, we were putting serious bad dudes in prison left and right. Now it's harder to do the job. I'd probably do it again. You know, I might make some. I'd have probably been a pretty good Texas Ranger, but they don't really like cops like me no more.
Yeah.
So
Well, you've been in the game for a minute.
yeah, long time. You know, seen, and I've seen a lot. You know, and sometimes you don't think about it until, you know, you're laying there at night, you look at that ceiling fan go on, and you're just like, good Lord. You start remembering some of that stuff that, you know, people you knew and stuff you've experienced, and, you know, the sheer amount of tragedy and trauma that a cop sees nowadays, especially over a 33-year career. You know, a lot of guys don't handle it very well, but good Lord's always looked after me and always will. So I just keep on rolling with the flow, you know.
Yeah, it takes a special kind of person to do that job, and you know, you got to put your faith in the right place. And like you said, good Lord's looking after you, man. That to me is, you know, as just a guy, just a little old country boy. You know, I'm an operator, man. I could never relate, you know, and I have the utmost respect for everybody putting themselves in that career path, and you know, in that situation to have to deal with those things so that we don't have to.
You know, man, but it's not, I mean, it's not just cops. You know, you look at those military guys, some of those guys got 10, 12, 15 tours of duty overseas. Just amazing human beings, you know. Firefighters, EMTs, you know, those people see the same stuff we see. Nurses, I love nurses. And I've watched nurses perform miracles in ERs before. You know, I was in the ER one time, and this guy coded, and this nurse jumped up on the gurney and just cussing the dude like a sailor, you know, and literally beat this guy back to life. You know, his heart stopped, and she was just pounding on his chest, and I'm like, oh my God, you know, I mean, it was unbelievable. She saved the dude's life, you know, and she's like, you son of a bitch, you better breathe, you know, and she's beating on this guy.
Come on.
Boom, boom, boom. Here comes his heart. She's like, oh, yes, ma'am, I guess I better get on it because, you know, you're going to beat me to death.
She scared his ass back to life.
So, I mean, it was freaking awesome, you know, and but you see that kind of stuff all the time. And you don't really think about it because it happens daily, you know, and then when you look back, it's like, man, that chick was cool as hell.
Yeah. Man, what's her number?
Yeah.
I'd be kind of scared of that.
Yeah, you can't do that anymore, especially with a uniform on. They will crucify you, yeah.
So let's just kind of backtrack. Let's kind of go through the history because we've been talking for hours with you before this, and
we try to save a little meat for the podcast.
We try to save some meat for the podcast.
Oh no, we can rehash it. I don't care.
Oh, definitely. It just I'm not gonna lie, and this is gonna be online. It's my jaw has been just like open because dude, you're just a cool son bitch. I'm telling you that straight up.
Oh,
so it's normal for you. You've been doing it for a long time, but what we do,
it's nothing to you. When we hear the shit, we're over here
don't
even know how to respond. You know?
Yeah, we're turning valves. We're just moving oil.
I mean, man, that's honorable.
Yeah,
guys like my dad worked in the plant forever. You know, people look down on construction hands and plant operators. Those people built this country.
Oh yeah,
you know, all those rich, you know, like the guy singing about the rich men from Richmond or whatever. You know, that dude. I mean, he's spot on. I mean, those people didn't build this country. You know, you guys built this country. You know, plan out. You know, so and I appreciate the compliment, but you know, that's the path I chose, and it's all the people I hang around do that. I mean, it's like you guys do what you do. I mean, y'all. It's gonna look like if y'all get me out in the marsh with a shotgun, it's gonna look like the skies over Germany in World War II because I'm gonna be blasting away. Y'all gonna be like blowing me out of the water with a shotgun. But you know, you guys do what you do, and I can't do what you do. You know, and I don't do what you do.
Everybody has a niche, and that's kind of what. How did you know at a young age? Like you said at the beginning of this podcast, you knew at a young age you wanted to be in law enforcement or military.
I had an uncle that was a cop. My dad, he wasn't really a biological uncle. He was my dad's best friend, but I called him uncle. He was that close. You know how that goes. So he was police, and I always looked up to him. And I thought, well, you know, if they're not going to let me do what I want to do in the military, and there's any chance they're going to make me a cook or something, I ain't doing it. And I probably should have went ahead. You know, I'm one of the. I am the classic. I almost joined. Military guys hate dudes that almost joined. They didn't do it. My son's a soldier, Army, infantry. Got, you know, enlisted to be at the Tomb of the Unknowns. And typical, my kid, he told him. I mean, that's a very high honor to get chosen for that. And he said, with all due respect, I didn't join the Army to guard a grave. And okay, they sent him straight to Afghanistan, you know, on a 240 machine gun. So, but he was a top 240 gunner in all Army Europe. So, I mean, you know, you know, he gets it natural. But, I always liked helping people. I always wanted to serve the country, and I'm patriotic beyond. I mean, I got America tattooed on that arm, you know, in the same font the Declaration's written in. So, I mean, I just 9/11 hit me hard. I'm having a hard time watching Israel right now, you know, because those poor people. 9/11 was I stayed glued to the TV for a month and didn't say a word. I was so pissed off. Still pissed.
Yeah.
Anyway, blah blah blah. So been that way since I was a kid. Just proud of the country, and people bled and died for this thing, so we can sit here and shoot the bull, and we just ate a big steak and drank a couple cold beers in Texas. Oh, man, if I died right now, I'm happy.
Yeah,
you know, how you don't get no better than this. You know,
literally.
Texas is a cult. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it just is. You know, people are like, well, that's a big deal with Texas. Like, man, if you got to say that, then you don't get it. You know, anyway.
No, and a lot of people take it for granted, and I know I do sometimes, and I try not to. Like what we've been doing for the last few hours. It's just there's a lot of countries and a lot of people out there that cannot do that.
No,
never
not at all.
be able to.
I think it's hard not to when you're not in it. You don't see it. I think a perfect example is like I hired in a job a couple of years ago, man, and this place was night and day difference. Where I came from prior to that, man, I'm walking through oil and gas and slop and all kinds of bullshit every day. I go to this brand new facility, man. It's still sparkling. They're still painting tanks, and I'm like, man, this place is badass. It's so clean. The workload's easy. It's nice. I'm getting paid, you know. I go in and meet the guys, and they're like, man, this place sucks. Like, where the hell did you come from? Where did you work before this? And the dude was like, oh, I worked at Dairy Queen. I'm like, yeah, you don't know shit because you haven't seen shit. So it puts it into perspective, you know, when you've seen, you know, you've seen the difficulties, the atrocities, the things that that happen, you know, behind closed doors. Maybe that they're ugly. You know, you don't see that every day. It's hard to, you know, to not be kind of complacent in how good we have it.
You know, and I didn't mention it. I'm a journeyman lineman too. I did line work for 8 years before I got in law enforcement. So I mean, my mom was brilliant. She's like, look, learn a trade, learn how to do something with your hands, and then go do what you want. And some of the best advice I ever got. You know, that little 5-foot Irish woman was, you know, she was brilliant. And I did line work for 9 years, and I'm a journeyman lineman. I can, with IBW, I can go back, you know, pay a month's dues, and I'm back on my tools if I want to be. But I've got that to fall back on, you know, if time gets it hard or I need a job, for whatever reason. But, I grew up working with my hands. My dad worked, I was walking a picket line when I was 6 years old. You know, so I mean,
So you're an electrician. Your brother was a master carpenter.
Yeah, well, not electrician. I'm a lineman. There's the difference. So I know when I took my when I got out of line work and had to take my psych test for law enforcement. The shrink asked me. He goes, well, you were doing line work, and now you want to be a cop. He said, have you got a death wish? I'm like, no. He said, well, okay, you're crazy enough. So signed off on it, you know. So it was, life's great, man. I just, I've seen as much stuff as, parents died horribly, both of them, and just been through a lot, seen a lot. But you just, faith gets you through it. You just got to, you just got to believe in something bigger than yourself and go for it. Bad stuff happens to people every day, all of us, and you just can't let that drag you down in the gutter. You just got to, man. Sometimes it's hard, but you got to get up, put your boots on, and I used to ride bareback horses back in the day, and everybody's like, "Man, you need to slow down a little bit. You spur yourself right off the damn horse." And I'm like, I may go down, but I'm going down spurring. I'm not going to hit the dirt because I just, got up there. Then
get right back up and get back on that.
You got to get back on. It's just, you have to limp out. You don't show the pain in the arena. When you limp out, you might want to die. but while you're there, you're there to take care of business. So anyway, but I'm rambling again. So
no, that's what.
But man, I've had an amazing life. I've got amazing friends. And like you guys. And like I said, your dad's one of the best guys. Your dad's one of the best guys I ever met. And he's got that reputation everywhere he goes. It's not just not just me saying that.
Yeah,
so.
Dude, Travo is a very
he's one of the best.
Yeah. We hear it, man. Me and Mitch and Luke and hey, we got big shoes to fill in that regard, man. But we do the best we can for them, and
right.
That it's just really cool. Like earlier, we're sitting around the fire cooking steaks, and you're telling me stories about my dad making shoelace tackles on the football field and getting stiff-armed by Hall of Fame running back Eric Dickerson.
Absolutely.
And so it's small town stuff, man.
The whole game plan when we played Eric Dickerson was everybody hit him. That was it. That was the whole game plan for the whole game. If you can put a hit on Eric Dickerson,
probably did not go
well. They
well.
couldn't catch him.
The game script on that was Dickerson's out for the first half. They didn't think they'd need him. They're going to roll through Hampshire, and then Hampshire puts up a good fight.
Right.
Dickerson comes out. He's on he had a little problem with his knee. Well, in the second half, they said, we're going to need you. He came out in the second half and had over 300 yards rushing just in the second half. My dad said he stiff-armed him so hard, man. He was looking out of his ear hole in his helmet. He said the dude, man, he could just grab, his hands were like dinner plates. He could just grab your helmet and just move you wherever he wanted you to. I heard those stories growing up, man, and getting to watch him on TV. That was cool. Dad, I played him, Eric Dickerson.
He did. I didn't play football. I was in the woods with a rifle. I didn't play. I wasn't a football player. I was built for riding bareback horses and but anyway, your dad was great. But growing up in the country, man, that's.
Side note, man, Hampshire Vanette plays Silsbee tomorrow.
Yeah, that's going to be a game, bro. Dude, they better bring their A game.
8-0 right now.
If I wasn't on nights, I'd be there.
Dude, good luck to them. They're playing Silsbee. They're the only two teams in like this region that are still undefeated.
There was at one point a rumor that Deion Sanders was going to be in attendance at the football game.
What?
But rather they're sending a Colorado scout's going to be out there. There's going to be some guys watching that Miller.
Draylon Miller.
Draylon Miller, man.
Yeah, that kid's fast, man. So
Hey,
it's gonna be a scrap. I tell you, I wish the best for
Hey,
HF
talk about
Longhorns,
Texas being a cult, man. It's hardworking people and Friday night football, man.
Dude,
That's it.
That is it in a nutshell, man.
Yep.
because
But,
I was talking to like my foreman at work. He has cousins all around like Texas, like out in like BFE West Texas, like 80 kids in a class,
Right.
Like, but like the whole town shuts down every Friday.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm talking the whole town, everything. There's not the Dairy Queen's closed. Everybody's at the games, and that's like there's 1,156 different high schools in Texas.
Yeah. Right.
And I guarantee 1,000 of them are like that.
Right. You go to Sabine Pass. I mean, there's like 18 people in the graduating class. So
7-man football.
The football team at halftime takes their jerseys off and pick their tubas and their trumpets up and play in the band and go put their jerseys back on and finish the game. Man, that's for real.
Yeah, it's
so
very.
That's just a lifestyle here, though, man. But I'm proud of it. I'm proud of America, proud of the people here, and you don't see as much of that anymore. And it's, to be honest with you, it's sad as hell. The man, because when 9/11 happened, I mean, I've been in law enforcement for years when that happened, and I was catatonic watching those people jump out of those buildings, and it just built up that. When you get pissed off at something and you're mad, you want to scream, God, dog, you just throwing stuff. That's one thing. But that calm anger, it's the same look that Bush had when they were in that classroom, that calm resolve that's like, oh, I know you didn't do that.
Yeah.
Because you're fixed to see
what we're made of.
Another side, yeah. And, and I think that's where Israel's at right now. But when 9/11 happened, now, I'll get emotional if I think about it. If I talk about it too much, I'll get emotional talking about 9/11. It affected me that bad. So,
I mean, we were in third grade. I mean, it didn't affect us like it does.
Dude,
like you.
I just
I think we were third grade.
My best friend went over. I had two really good friends. One was a SWAT sniper in Frisco, Texas, but he was also in the Texas National Guard. And then I had another buddy that was he was a Fort Wayne, Indiana cop sniper. But he was in the Marine Corps Reserve. Well, Jeff, the Indiana guy, was 39. And Russ, my buddy in Frisco, was 43. Those guys went active duty, full-time active duty after 9/11, quit their police departments, went active duty in the Marine Corps Reserve and National Guard. And Russ went through Army sniper school at 43 years of age. That's a gut check, bro. I mean, that school ain't no joke for anybody, for young men. And a lot of those guys don't pass it, and they flew through it. And so did my friend Jeff. He went through Marine Corps Scout Sniper School. He's one of the oldest guys to ever go through it. And they both deployed immediately. And those guys did good work over there because they were mature. They'd been on the SWAT team forever. They'd actually been in, bad situations and stuff. So they were huge force multipliers in their units, as far as combat goes. But they got over there, and they're, reservists and National Guardsmen, they didn't have the gear they needed. And they're calling me like, hey, bro, I need this and this and this and this and this. And, I'm not talking about weapon scope and ammo. I'm talking about backpacks and binoculars and optics and stuff like that. And it's like, I need all this stuff. And I'm like, can you help me out? And I'm like, man, I got $100 in my pocket, so... Man, I just put on and I'm rambling. Do you want me to go here? Or,
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
so
dude, just go.
So, man, I just had two dudes that were buddies, and they needed help. And they were fighting, and I was at home, felt like I was doing nothing. Still doing the law enforcement thing, but just felt like I wasn't contributing. So I'm a detective at work, so that's what I do. I normally have, nice pants, shirt, and tie, the whole bit on, the detective clothes. But I put on a uniform and started raising money locally in my, in Port Arthur, Texas. And it wasn't long. I mean, that was right after 9/11. People were throwing money at me. When I told them what I was doing, I'm in uniform, whatever, and bosses signed off on it. I wasn't doing anything wrong or taking the money or anything like that. And it wasn't long, man. I had everything they needed bought, sent to them. But I had money left over. Well, it wasn't my money. That was the community's money. And I'm the police. I ain't taking the community's money with that. So I'm like, well, what am I going to do with this money? I got a considerable amount of money. And so I started calling sniper schools in the Marine Corps and the Army, just cold calls. And it was hilarious because when you call a Marine Corps or an Army scout sniper or a sniper school or a scout sniper school and you're a cop and you get a buck sergeant on the phone or a corporal on the phone, and they're like, you got a corporal, you got a cop on the phone, and invariably it went like this. I'm like, hey, man, I'm detective in Texas. Is your gunny sergeant around or your master sergeant around? Yes, sir. Stand by one. And then you hear, Gunny, some cops on the phone. Invariably you hear, oh, shit. Because they just knew they were out on leave and screwed up or something, And then I get on the phone with these guys. I'm like, hey, look, man, I got a surplus of money. Do you have students that need gear that are deploying? And they're like, absolutely. We got guys that are dying for it. So that was in 2002. So I kind of took it on myself to raise as much money as I could for as long as I could and help every single American on a scope gun that was shooting those stinking bastards that attacked our country. And just made it a personal mission. And moved my cars out of the garage. I pretty much was running a gear shop out of my own garage. If I wasn't, and I'm not trying to play the martyr here, but it's the truth. If I wasn't at work or asleep, I was taping boxes in the garage for 2 years. And then finally got to the point where the wife was about to leave, and I mean, it was bad, man, because I was just mission focused, and trying to help as many dudes as I could. And then the war was ramped up. Afghanistan was kind of winding down because, I say winding down, we kind of had that situation under control early on. Bin Laden was on the run. He was already through Tora Bora and had probably headed to Pakistan, and we had that situation under control. But Iraq kicked off, and then it was game on. So I wound up having to get some help. So long story short, we adopted our buddies, and somebody started calling it Adopt a Sniper, the little program. And I hated it because you're going to have them fools that get on your podcast and start talking trash and talking shit about something they don't know anything about, or just saying ugly stuff just to say it because they can. We had a lot of that. Well, I want to adopt a sniper. How often do I walk my sniper? How much do I feed my sniper? And it just made me want to yank up I'm just like, okay, that's not going to work. So we renamed the thing AmericanSnipers.org. So the name of the organization was actually the web address. So that was in 2003, 20 years ago. Now I think we probably raised, somewhere around $3 million, supported over 1,300 different sniper units in Afghanistan and Iraq and other places that, Horn of Africa, other places that Americans are doing that work, and just buying gear that they're, that their units either can't or won't buy them. And people are like, they get pissed off. They're like, why in the military? That's where our tax dollars going. Well, Biden gave a shit ton of it away to the Taliban, so they gave away, that dude gave away more stuff than we could raise in 20 lifetimes. But that notwithstanding, a lot of people just don't get it. The snipers are actually a very, very small portion of a bigger cog in the wheel. And sometimes their bosses have extra money for them, and sometimes they don't, and we right now, we are almost exclusively supporting U.S. Army Special Forces in their mission. And used to, Navy guys and Special Forces guys never asked us for nothing. They didn't have to because they had what's called an impact card. So they had a credit card. If they needed something that wasn't on their MTO, which is their military table of equipment, if it wasn't on there, they just go buy it. If they wanted KUIU gear or better cold weather gear than the Army issued, or they wanted whatever, they just went and bought it. They did away with all that. So they've cut Obama did it, Biden did it. They cut the military down to nothing. And those guys have a hard time getting the stuff they need. So, they're like, hey, man, look, our units bought us this, this, and this, but we would be so much more lethal if we had this and this. Well, we buy the this and this and, shoot it straight to them with our contacts. So, anyway, we've been doing it a long time, we've helped a lot of dudes. And as far as I know, we're the only there's some great nonprofits out there. They're buying houses for these guys that have been blowing up IEDs, taking guys on hunts. You guys, I'm sure you guys see a lot of that. They're taking veterans on, guided hunts and stuff, hunts of a lifetime or whatever. We don't really do that. We're killing the enemy by proxy. As far as I know, we're the only nonprofit that does that by buying mission essential gear that those guys need to kill bad guys.
Before we get into that, I just kind of still just picking at you while you're, in your younger ages. How did you know? Like, I know you squirrel hunt and stuff like that, and you graduated high school. Did you go to college or anything?
Nope.
So you just kind of learned a trade. You became a lineman.
Yeah.
And how did you know that you were going to become?
Mom gave me great advice. She's like, learn a trade. So I did that, great advice. And I learned it, but I didn't want to be doing that when I was the age I am now. In fact, I probably didn't want to be doing a cop as the age I am now. But everybody's like, man, why don't you retire? I said, well, I did retire. I got 1 retirement and 2 divorces. So
Yeah.
So
you retired 3 times.
So
really.
yeah, so I'm back at it. But man, I knew I wasn't going to be a lineman forever. I mean, I don't know how I knew, but I knew that and I met my kid's mom. She was an engineer. She was A&M grad, and her career was taking off. And I didn't want a regular Army job or a regular Marine Corps job. I wanted to be special operations capable. And that guy's going to be gone forever. So I thought, you know what, just give up on that. And one day I came home and said, hey, I'm going to the police academy. And she's like, what? Because we didn't talk about it. I didn't mention it. I just did it. And I went and haven't looked back, And man, I don't really have a hard answer for you. I knew I wasn't going to do line work forever, and I've got it to fall back on.
Yeah.
But
what I'm saying is, like, how did you, initially, no, just how did you get into like being a sniper? Like, how'd you? I mean, because like what we've talked about.
Did it have any appeal to you, like prior to knowing what?
Like
what
that
it
you want to be
entailed?
able to shoot far very well.
Well, and most cop snipers, we don't shoot that far. We shoot really good. We just don't shoot that far. It's not like the military guys. We're working in American neighborhoods. And a lot of times you see these military guys get out of the military and I want to teach these cops all the thing. And most of the stuff they do don't apply to what we do.
Yes.
I mean, we're shooting. People don't think about it, but the bad guys we shoot may be criminal. They may be crazy. They may be both. But they're still protected by the same Constitution we are, right up to the second they force us to put a smoking hole in their face.
Yeah.
They force us to do that. If they would raise their hands and give up, we're done. Mission's over. That's not what the military does, and our primary job is not shooting even. And that's one similarity we have is the military guys, the primary job is observation, providing real-time intelligence to their commanders. And that's what we do for SWAT team as well. However, secondary mission is providing, precision fire on designated targets. For the military, that's high-ranking officers, commo guys and stuff like that. They're there to kill the enemy in a foreign country. They don't do that here. Police officers are forced to shoot criminals to save someone's life in America. And everybody involved, from the cop, his boss, the hostage, her mother, the bad guy and their mother, are all U.S. citizens protected by the same Constitution.
Yeah,
the rules of engagement are diametrically opposed. I mean, they're getting closer because they don't want to shoot, civilians overseas. It happens. That's the big thing going on with Israel right now. But back to your question, I always. I've been my own man ever since I was a little kid, and I have paid for it terribly. I never was fake. I can't be a fake person, and those guys in high school and stuff, and you see grown people now at my age, and they're still fake as they can. They're fake ass bitches.
Yep.
And I'm just like, man, you're so fake. You got 30,000 friends, and it's the biggest bunch of fake crap. And I always did my own thing. I've always been my own man. I was never the fair-haired boy. I was never the golden child. I was never the made man. Never.
That's one thing I pride our whole group on being. We're real, just real people, man.
That's it.
And I pride ourselves on that for sure.
That's why we click.
Chris Kyle's a buddy of mine, and Chris could fit right in right here. A lot of, Chris Kyle, sniper instructor, is a friend of mine. I know people like that. And, people, Carlos Hathcock, one of the most famous snipers in Marine Corps history, was one of my instructors. I'm friends with his son. I've sat at his kitchen table, and they're just normal, all of them country boys, everybody I mentioned so far, and just like us. And, I don't do well around fake, phony people. I just don't.
Well, finish what you're about to say.
No. That's it. There's an event here in Southeast Texas called Cavalcade, and it's a big bunch of debutantes. They get together, and most of the families are rich and got money, whatever. And one of my girlfriends was sponsored by one of the refineries, so she had quite a bit of money behind her. And we go to this big event, and it's like it changed her whole personality at this event. She was talking down to people and everything. Well, she got to missing me. and I had to borrow a suit to go to this thing. I couldn't afford a tux. Everybody else in a tux, and I'm in a suit, you know. So I'm already behind the 8 ball on that. And she gets to looking for me. I took the jacket off. I was in there washing dishes with the hard help. She got to looking for me for an hour. I finally realized, where's he at? And I'm in there washing dishes.
This ain't my crowd, man.
So, I mean, I'm just like, you know, I'm not going to put on airs for something, you know, but anyway, yeah. So, I mean, I just,
Could you tell us how, like, you became buddies with Chris Kyle? Like,
yeah, sure, absolutely. So Chris got out of the Navy in 2008. That's the year I retired from the police department, and I went to work for Black Hills Ammunition in South Dakota. We made all the 5.56, 308, you know, a lot of 308, 300 Win Mag. That company made Chris Kyle's ammo and all of the ammunition for SOCOM. In fact, I got a tattoo on this arm. It's covered up. It says "Never Quit." But you know what an ammo can looks like, right? The green can with the yellow writing on it. You've seen a million of them. Well, there's a big stencil machine that makes those, that lays those stencils out. The government, that has to be laid out in a certain way, and the letters have to be a certain size, and blah blah blah. And we had a big stencil machine that's got a big dial that laid those things out. Well, I typed "Never Quit" in the stencil machine and made a tattoo that says "Never Quit" on my left arm off of the stencil machine that stenciled the ammo cans that killed Bin Laden, the Maersk, Alabama pirates. I could go on and on and on and on about, because we made all the 5.56 for SOCOM. So when Chris got out of the Navy in 2008, I was working for Black Hills. I was going to a lot of the sniper conferences and stuff because of my background and stuff, and I was working for the ammo company, and we just got to be friends right off the bat, right? You know, he started his own training company. He was going to hire me to help teach along with other guys. There's a lot of, you know, other guys like me that were going to go to work for him. Some of them did. And then his book and the movie came out. He actually used, he thought so much of our nonprofit that he named the book and movie American Sniper after my organization, American Snipers.org, not the other way. That big squid stole my shit. I tell people that all the time. Now, I love him, but I miss him terribly. He was one of my good friends. But he's like, well, you didn't copyright it. I'm like, well, I didn't think I have to copyright it from you, you know, you asshole. You know, so I mean, but we were very close. And he thought enough of the organization that he said, that's a good name for the book and the movie. And so I didn't care, you know, I could care less. And I'm glad it, you know, did what it did. And, you know, his kids will be set up for from now on. But anyway, but that's how Chris and I met. And we were, you know, we were good buddies. I saw Chris 2 weeks before he was killed, and we had a project we were working on together. And he's, you know, he got rich and famous, or not rich and famous, big and famous by then. And maybe still saying with Chris, he's like, man, we need to finish that project. And I'm like, man, we got the rest of our life to finish that project. And I'm like, yeah, man, I'll see you later. He said, all right, boy, I love you. I'm like, yeah, I love you too. And then 2 weeks later, he's gone. You know, so it's kind of the way it goes. But he was a real guy, like a cowboy, you know, rodeo hand, just like us.
Yeah, and they kind of portrayed that in the movie.
Yeah, they did, and they got that. You know, they absolutely got all of that correct. You know, there's a few things that were, you know, I'm just kind of like, okay, it's Hollywood a little bit, but the vast majority of it was pretty good.
Yeah,
it really was. And I mean, I was privy to a lot of that because I mean, Chris and I drank much whiskey over women, much whiskey. Did I say much? Much
Emphasis
whiskey.
on
much more.
Much whiskey
more.
over women. So yeah.
That but I mean, you can't hate Hollywood for, they have to make a movie.
Oh yeah,
you know?
right.
You got to make
right.
it, because if they did every detail of what it was, I mean, it would be good and people would appreciate it. But also, like, you got to action it up or make it this or that.
Well, we talked about Jeff. You know, Jeff Kyle, Chris's younger brother. I mean, he just graduated the police academy in Waco. He might be mad at me for saying that. I'm sorry, Jeff, if you see this. Punch me later, but whatever. You know, I mean, he's a real deal guy too, just like Chris was. And but he's a working police officer. He's not like some kind of reserve police officer or somebody that he's a cop. And ton of respect for Jeff. You know, their family just quietly deals with the grief and stuff on their own. You know, but in their own way. But they're good people. So.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Anyway,
I was just kind of curious because that's very neat that you know were friends with him, an American hero.
You told
Yeah,
us
multiple heroes you've been friends with, and
right.
You told a story earlier, and I'd love to have you tell it again, man. Of Chris stealing your pocket knife one time, man.
Oh God. Oh yeah. So we are at the National Patrol Rifle Conference in Detroit, Michigan. There's 300 cops in there, mostly snipers and you know, designated marksmen for their agencies. So Chris and I have been drinking. I wasn't a police officer then. That's when I was working for Black Hills, and Chris just got out of the Navy. Both of us having woman trouble. So we've been drinking since noon with a sergeant major from the British Army named Mark Spicer. Mark's a friend of ours. Mark was a subject matter expert on the D.C. killing. Remember the D.C. sniper? Remember that guy going around shooting on the people, the maniac shooting on the people? Mark was a subject matter expert in that case. Good friend of ours. I can't drink with those dudes, man. I mean, he's British and Chris is huge. And
He's a
I
beef
mean,
boss for sure.
We were polluted. I mean, it was
Dude.
Oh
my God. That is such a good word.
That's
It
going to
was-
be a new one for
That
us.
is a good, dude. I'm about to be polluted here in a minute. buddy.
That's an old term. I'm showing my age here. All the old hands are like, "What are they laughing about?" That, yeah, it's new to you guys.
glad
That's
you
old
brought it
shit
back.
for us. I was out of my mind drunk. So I have to get. I mean, Chris had, he had a stack of ribbons this big on his chest. He had, couple Navy Crosses, Silver Stars, and all that stuff. And so I gave his introduction. I was getting ready to give his introduction. So he's walking behind me, and he took my knife out of my pocket. And I'm like, "Hey, boy, give me my knife." And he's holding it behind his back. I mean, it's obvious he had it. And he's like, "I don't know what you're talking about." And I said, "Dude, give me my knife." And he said, "Well, if I had your effing knife, what are you going to do about it?" So I punched him in the junk. Well, he dropped the knife, but he punched me in my head, and knocked my hat off. I'm like, "Oh, you bitch." So we square up, and the air goes out of the room because we're in Detroit, Michigan with a bunch of Yankees. Oh, I'm sorry. Forgive me.
Yankees don't watch this show.
I still don't know how y'all won that war. We almost beat y'all's ass barefoot and starving. But anyway, that's another story. I still don't know how we lost that one. But no offense. Love you guys. I'm glad it worked out the way it did. But anyway, Chris and I squared up. So, I'm going to go I was going to just throw a mock punch at him about the same time he went to grab me, and I punched him right in the jaw. Then he got pissed, and he wanted to kill me, but he couldn't because he loved me. So he just picked me up and shook the change out of my pockets, I got a picture with my big googie on my head where Chris punched me in my head. I wouldn't take. Somebody started snapping pictures after that, but they thought we were really crazy Texans fixing to go start fighting right here in the conference, and it was just doing what we do.
Yeah, that's
just being clowns. We're just
goofing around.
goofing off. And I wouldn't, I think nothing about it then. I wouldn't take $1 million for that experience because that was my friend,
Yeah.
So
yeah,
anyway,
that was hilarious.
can I
man.
drink
You told
beer?
that
Can I
story.
drink a beer on here or no? Is that like not? Can I not do
the
that?
most raw and unfiltered podcast
You
there is,
showed
man.
this. You were scrolling through some pictures earlier, and he just, for the viewers, to put this into context, while I want to hear the story again, he was just showing pictures, and there was just a picture of Brian, and he was, I think, up at the podium, and he had a big old knot on his head.
Yeah, where Chris-
yeah,
yeah.
that was Chris punched me in the forehead with that big old frogman ring. And that trident ring. that he had on.
Navy SEAL trident ring. He used to wear a big old solid gold, 24 karat gold. Looked like somebody got in a kiosk at the mall. Bow, man! I'm like, oh, you fucker.
Yeah.
I mean, ain't nobody gonna do that. And get, we both grew up in a beer joint, me and him both. So I mean, it just,
I have a couple questions I wanted to ask. So, for a lot of our viewers and a lot of people that, are just normal people, civilians, I guess, they think of snipers. Most people probably think of military snipers,
right?
Foreign,
Right.
all that stuff, military. So there's a lot of need for snipers here in America.
Right.
So can you talk about maybe some?
Yeah, law
maybe some
enforcement is a
instances?
totally different job. It's just a different job that we do. And, people think that it's a big long range thing and all that, like the military guys. That's not really what happens in law enforcement in America. In the last 40 years, there's probably been, a lot of the 3-letter agencies don't give us their data. But there's another organization called the American Sniper Association, totally different than the charity. That organization documents and retains the data on every sniper shooting in the U.S. that they can find out about. A lot of agencies don't want to talk about it, like New York, L.A. A lot of those agencies don't want to give up their sniper data. A lot of the 3-letter agencies don't want to either, but most other agencies will. So we've got quite a few of the over 540 documented shots in law enforcement where some cop, sniper somewhere, saved a hostage's life. And that's a different job than what the military does. Now, there's hostage rescue in the military with, the SEAL guys and the Green Berets Special Forces guys and other people that do special jobs that I don't talk about because officially they don't exist. And out of respect for them, I don't even acknowledge their existence. They may acknowledge it themselves, but that ain't for me to do. So those guys do hostage rescue probably fixing to be doing a bunch of it in Israel. And they know who they are. Most people know who they are. That's good enough. But here in the States, before 9/11, nobody shot more people than the cops. You know, police officers are having to save people's lives because you got people on drugs, you got maniacs taking people hostages across the street. But most of the time, you're dealing with people in the trailer park, you're dealing with people at the mall, you're dealing with people house to house. And it's not the long distance Hollywood type thing, or not even that, the military stuff. You hit it on the head. You know, they automatically think, oh, he's a sniper, it's military stuff. And a lot of times it's not. There's a lot of similarities. A lot of times you have to, remain hidden and unseen, because if they see you, they're going to go to ground. They're not going to let you shoot them, you know. And if you can't miss, most of the time the military guys, if they miss, it's no big deal, you know.
They're 300, 400, or however far.
And there's no backstop issue. They're not in an American neighborhood. If I miss and it goes through your house and kills somebody in the house behind you, then I'll just commit a homicide.
Yeah.
You know, or it's through if you're shooting a 308 in a trailer park, and everybody's like, well, why are you shooting 308? That's a big caliber to be shooting in a trailer park. Most of the time we have to deal with glass, but we have to absolutely be sure of our backstop before we pull the trigger. You can't call a bullet back. Everything that bullet touches, I own. In the military, you know, they might have to patch a hole in a mud hut and buy the family a goat. Okay, if I shoot a Volkswagen, I just bought a Volkswagen.
So you're liable for a whole lot.
The liability. I've had military guys tell me I couldn't do your job. But then I have other military guys that do both, like my friends that I helped out, and they're fantastic at both of them. You know, my buddy that was in the Army, older guy, mature guy, when he deployed, he was a National Guardsman, and he wound up running with 5th Special Forces Group because they needed a sniper guy. They had other jobs. Some of those guys were sniper qualified, but they had other jobs to do. And he ran with them and did yeoman work over there. And I got a super cool picture I didn't show you of his M24. I sent him that's the Army sniper rifle at the time, and sent him a scope cap with a picture of the Twin Towers in it. And he's got a cool picture over his Humvee with that scope cap on his, and he's looking at the Twin Towers because that just happened. He was there, the year after 9/11. So, so it's just a different job with different rules of engagement. And, cop snipers aren't beyond falling into that trap. I call it PCH, playing Carlos Hathcock. It's like, man, you're not in Vietnam hunting the Viet Cong. You're at the mall or Walmart parking lot, Oh, you guys know what trace is? Do you know what that means when you say trace in long distance high power shooting or long distance shooting? So when a bullet flies through the air, it looks just like a motorboat in the water. The air behind it is making like a little ripples, just exactly like a motorboat in the water. But if you offset your spotting scope a little bit and turn it just a little bit out of focus, you can see where that trace is, and you can call your shot. None of that matters in law enforcement. We're shooting people, we're shooting at targets across the street. So I have a standing joke, nobody's calling trace in the trailer park. That's not what we do.
You told me it was, you actually asked us, like quizzed us, what's the average shot in America for a sniper? And
right.
Yes,
Yeah, in law enforcement, the average shot as of today in America, the average distance of a law enforcement sniper shot is 58 yards. And then you have people say, oh, I'll make that with my Glock. And most of the time those people are talking out of school, because it might be 58 yards away, but it's at night. You probably don't work for an agency that's got enough money to have the night vision and thermal that those special guys I was telling you about has. You may, but probably not. It's nighttime. There's still hostages in the house, and you don't know where they're at, and they're behind glass. So you got to deal with the glass. So you might be able to see the guy, and you might be able to save the hostage's life, but you might possibly blind her from the spalling of the glass. So you might save her life, but you may blind her. But what if you don't shoot and he blows her head off when you could have saved her? So those are the decisions you have to kind of make on the fly, on your own. And the amount of pressure, it's a horse job, law enforcement by far. But the amount of pressure put on one guy is so much better when you've got a spotter with you, because you can confirm, hey, are you seeing what I'm seeing? Yeah. What are we going to do? And then it's so much easier to divide that decision making. But when you're by yourself and you've been laying there for 8 hours and you're on piss, because as sure as you try to take a leak, that's when a guy's going to walk out with a hostage. You just let it go. People they have no clue. You know, they really don't. And I'm not trying to play the martyr here. It's what we chose to do. But it's a different job than the military guys. So my old man used to say, hey, when you ask a guy what time it is, and he tries to tell you how to build a damn watch, you know. So it's a long answer to your short question. But anyway, I don't know. Is that where you're...
No, that's depth. Yeah,
so
depth. There was depth
it's
to
a
that
totally
answer.
different. It's a totally different job than what the military does. The only thing we got in common is, you know, some of the gear and, you know, we're providing real-time intelligence to our commanders and providing precision fire on designated targets. I'll give you a great example. In 2000, I went to a sniper conference. I was debriefing a horrible call-out where I watched a guy shoot a baby one night. Sitting at my table was a sniper team leader for for Secret Service, and there were 2 5th Special Forces guys there. This is 2000, right before 9/11 happened. Those guys brought military rifles. They were shooting SR-25s, which at the time had some reliability issues, or magazines that had magazine issues. They were shooting scopes that weren't really made for the police mission. They came in dead last out of 75 SWAT sniper teams. This is U.S. Army Special Forces. I didn't have a rent car, and actually it was 100, not 75, it was 175 two-man teams. That's how big that match was. And they came in last. They were despondent. I mean, these are Green Berets. And I didn't have a rent car, so the Green Berets were taking me around to get a hamburger. You couldn't even talk to them. And finally I said, okay, dude, what the fuck? I said, you guys are Green Berets. They said, Brian, you don't get it. We don't lose at nothing ever, period. And I said, I'm not seeing it as you losing. I see it as you learning. I said, take these cops up in the ass end of a C-130, kick them out the ass end of it with oxygen, let them fly like a flying squirrel for however far y'all do, halo, hey-ho, and all that stuff. You know, high altitude, high opening, high altitude, low opening, whatever. Let them land without breaking their leg. You know, make a 20-mile click or 20-click hump, a 900-yard shot in the wind, and get out before the mortars start falling. They're like, are you sure you weren't in the military? I said, no, I just know the damn difference. That's not even what we do. You're playing our game. I said, you got your asses handed to you. I said, but did you learn anything? They're like, dude, yeah. So anyway, long story short, about 4 years later, after 9/11 happened, and those guys are 5th group, so they're in Asia. You know, they're over there, right there. And I got one of them guys was his whole family was raised. They had a turkey farm. One of them was a turkey farmer, and I forget what the other guy did, but the other guys, when I got a hold of him, I called him up. I said, he was at, you know, Fort Campbell in Kentucky, where 5th group stationed at. I said, hey, man, how's it going? Boy, how have you been? You know, we had the big old hoo-yah, you know, how's it been? Catching up and everything. I said, let me ask you something. I said, all that cop stuff you guys learned at that match. I said, what you guys been doing? He said, Brian, you wouldn't even recognize it. I said, we look like ZZ Top. We got beards down here. We've been kicking doors for 3 years, you know, going after insurgents in Iraq, you know, and Afghanistan. And I said, didn't that cop stuff pay off? He said, dude, you can't imagine, because all the fighting in Iraq was close. It was urban, and that's not what they normally do. He said it was hugely beneficial. We changed our gear up, changed our optics up, and we slayed the fucking dragon. And I'm like, cool. You didn't lose at all. So, you know, that's the environment I'm in a lot. You know, those kind of guys are guys I talk to, and every one of them, you never know, they look just like us. I mean, every one of them beer drinking, bass fishing. A lot of them got PhDs and win a bar fight too. You know, they're just those kind of guys. You know, they got to be good at everything they do, and but that's why they're special. So, you know, I mean, thank God we have them. You know, because they're fixing to be headed to Israel, right? They're there already. So
I don't know about y'all, Mitch, Porter, but Tanner, dude, hearing these conversations, I feel this big.
Why? Why, brother? You shouldn't feel that big.
Oh, dude, these are some different bad motherfuckers we're talking about here.
And they are, but you never know it from talking to them. I mean,
no, they're and it's no difference. Like, I mean, talking to you, you're a normal dude. Could you fuck us up? Probably.
I mean,
but
I'd say almost
certainly. Almost certainly. But no. Like, I'm saying, like, you're a normal dude. Like, and we're talking about like Tyler and Ryan, like Ryan Warhola, who has been on this podcast multiple times for our listeners, trained underneath this guy in a sniper school, and like people like that are just down to earth, fishing, hunting.
Ryan's a great student. Yeah, he's a great student, great shot too. It's just no pressure at all because he's just such a natural shot. You know, and I run up on guys like that all the time. You know, I can watch somebody pick up a rifle, and the way they mount the rifle, it's like somebody picking up a bow. They shot a bow a lot. You automatically, okay, I got to know how to shoot a bow. I mean, you just know. Or the way a guy mounts a shotgun, it's like, okay, he can shoot.
Yeah.
I can watch somebody pick up a rifle, and as soon as they pick it up, I'm like, yeah, he can shoot, or he ain't gonna hit this guy ain't gonna hit the berm. You just know.
And yeah, Warhola has that gift. Like when he shot that bighorn ram or whatever the hell, like it was a pretty outrageous, like open sight, outrageous on the side of a mountain, tracking it. And I'm just like, he's just like, dude, it's just like, and he's not like any braggadocious way. He's just like, it just comes natural. Like,
It's like
it's easy. I pull the trigger and it's dead.
Well, a lot of it's just. I was talking to you earlier about shooting really, really far away. Everybody wants those crosshairs to just freeze frame, and it ain't happening. We're just a big old bowl of Jello. We're made of water. And you got an air compressor in there pumping away, especially if you just ran a wind sprint, or even if you're amped up and got a little bit of buck fever. You know, because if that ever stops happening, I'm gonna quit hunting. You know, but you know what I'm saying. But we're on a big old sphere that's spinning around. The wind's blowing. In South Dakota, you know, I did all the ammo testing for Black Hills. If you weren't through shooting and we're out on a prairie where the range was, the damn wind blows us 75 miles an hour out there for no reason. Here, that's a hurricane in the Gulf. Out there, that's just the way it is on a prairie. If you weren't through shooting by 9:30, it's blowing your ammo off the table, blowing you. It ain't, you know, I'm not too much worried about, pardon me, what it's doing to my bullet at 100 yards, but it's blowing me around, you know, and you're not going to be able to sit still, and you have to, you know, you just have to accept that. And when the crosshairs come across the target, like Ryan said, break the shot, but it's all confidence. It's like you guys with a shotgun. You know, throwing something in the air and you guys hitting it, there's nothing for y'all. For me, I'm like, okay, I'm fixing to embarrass my ass here. But
Well, just like
y'all
you
would
said-
show me up big time, all of y'all. All
That's what I
four of you
think
guys
it's like,
out shotgun me all day.
So yeah, and the way you talk about that versus the way I talk about like shooting shots like with a rifle, you know, I've been doing this. We've been doing this. You know, this is what we grew up doing, with shooting shotguns, shooting birds and fowl and all that stuff. And so that's like our bread and butter, you know, and that repetition has bred confidence in all of us. We've been out there and done it 1,000 times over, you know, so we're confident in doing that. But like, you take us out of our element, and there's a whole like it's an intimidation factor in not knowing and not being confident in your abilities to do that without that repetition, you know. So that was just kind of what I meant when we talked about that.
No, I
earlier,
get
you know.
it, bro. But I mean, can you drive a Formula One Le Mans car? I can't either. I can't either. I mean, you know, and you know.
Let me rephrase.
Let's put it.
Let me rephrase. I haven't tried.
Let's put it this way. How much time? Oh, you guys aren't really old enough yet, but say a little girl. Look at Simone Biles. Or I mean, I don't know, and I haven't talked about this, but I fence. You know, I'm also a fencer. I love fencing. So
Yeah, you could shoot 700 yards and stab you with a knife.
I mean, I love fencing. It's like, because it's like chess at Mach 2.
Can you play chess?
I'm better at fencing.
I'm pretty good at chess.
Yeah, I like the athleticism, and you know. So anyway, my fencing gym is the Olympic fencing, U.S. EPA Olympic fencing gym in Houston. So there's 4 Olympians that train at that gym, and every single person in that gym is a Olympic fencer, a veteran champion fencer, a collegiate champion fencer, a high school champion fencer, or a junior champion fencer. And then here come I with, you know, jiu-jitsu guy walks in with the tattoos and shit, and all these kids are doctors' kids and lawyers' kids and stuff like that.
You said jiu-jitsu kid? So you're
I'm
also...
I'm the jiu-jitsu guy. Ain't none of them people that are doing jiu-jitsu. They're fencing. You know, I got jiu-jitsu on it, you know, so I walk in looking like this. You don't see tattoos in the fencing gym, dude. Them are all rich people, you know. So I walk in, 60 years old, say, I want to do this. Show me how to do it. And they're like, oh, okay. So, you know, so anyway, I'm fencing this 15-year-old kid, and it's like he's got 6 touches on me before I even know, you know, with his epee. And I got all the gear on and everything, and I want to go just bum rush a little fucker and cut his head off my pocket knife. You know, I mean, I'm just, you know, fuck, you know, here it comes. You know, I'm coming out with that, you know, from nowhere, you know. Like, so anyway, but I'm like, shit. So finally I got pissed off a little bit, and I actually got a couple of touches on him, you know, and I high-fived the kid. I mean, the kid's one of the top fencers in the United States at 15 in his league. And he said, sir, we've been watching you.
Is it 30?
We got a little ways to go.
We're good. We're good.
All right, so he's like, we've been watching. He said, most people don't walk in this gym and start fencing, you know. And he said, you're doing better, you know, you're getting better every time you come. I said, oh, dude, you kicked my ass. And he goes, sir, with all due respect, he said, I've been coming here 6 days a week 5 hours a day since I was 4.
I should kick your ass.
And the following month, he won the world championships in Dubai. This past year, he won the American championship. So, I mean, I didn't feel so bad about him kicking my old ass. But there's always going to be somebody better. There's always going to be somebody smarter. There's always going to be somebody tougher. There's always going to be somebody stronger. Always. And, I was teaching. I think I told you before, I taught the police academy. So I used to fight every student in the academy. I quit with Big Bailey. After that academy, everything was starting to hurt a little bit. So
You saw Damon walk in.
Yeah.
It wasn't that. I wasn't afraid
Speaking
of him.
Damon was also on the podcast. So if you're just a new listener, you can go back and see him physically.
Oh, he's a monstrous dude. Yeah, he's big as a door.
All right, quick break there, guys, and we're back with some more. If you've made it this far along, youtube.com/Bayou Dragons. If you want to check us out over there, we'd really appreciate the support. Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow along. Another story I wanted to get into, man, you mentioned earlier, and I've been dying to know ever since. Pulled out a can of snuff earlier and put a big old fat dip in, and you said, man, I've got a Copenhagen story.
Yep.
Let's hear it.
Yep. All right. So, man, military Copenhagen comes and it's dry. It's like it sits on the shelf forever and it's dry as hell. If you got a can of stateside Copenhagen fresh in Afghanistan, you can get anything from close air support to a date with that damn thing. I'm telling you, if you got stateside Copenhagen in Afghanistan,
You are the fucking man.
you can name your price on whatever you
We
want.
have look, and I'm not trying to interrupt. I did send a roll to a dude in Iraq. I think it was in Iraq. Like last year, he just said, "Dude, could you send me some snuff? Like just a can." I sent him a
Right.
full roll of
Oh, yeah.
Copenhagen straight.
Right.
Like just because I was like, dude.
Well, in that vein, so I've got the special guys in SOCOM, the SEALs, Special Forces guys, the Rangers, Air Force pararescuemen, those kind of guys, and other guys. Most of those guys get different ammunition than the regular Army troops. So a lot of them are using the ammo we made at Black Hills, which is the 5.56 we made was Mark 262 Mod O Mod 1, which is basically a Sierra Match King projectile. Well, there was a big blow up over that because the part of the manufacturing of that projectile is they run a little small wire in there to keep it all concentric, and when they pull it out, it leaves the tip hollow. But it's not like a hollow. It's not a purpose-made hollow point like a pistol or Barnes TSX. It's not a true hollow point, but it was a big point of contention because everybody was like, this is against the Geneva and Hague Conventions. You can't use hollow point ammunition in war. Well, it's not a true hollow point. So the lead counsel for DOD, who was a friend of mine named Hayes Parks. Hayes Parks argued at the Hague and Geneva Convention, that's not what this is. So, I mean, that's the kind of friends I got. I mean, this guy was, represented the United States at the Hague Convention on ammunition. So, that's not what it is. So those guys use that ammunition. It performs so much better than green tip. So green tip is, are you guys familiar with 223 green tip? So it's got a little green tip on. It's got a steel penetrator in it because when that ammunition was designed, it was designed thinking we're going to be fighting the Russians wearing body armor in the winter. When we're not. We're fighting little skinny dudes wearing T-shirts in the desert. So it's just zipping through them, and they're dead and they don't know it, but they're still fighting. So our guys, the National Guard guys, regular Army guys are having to shoot these dudes 5-6 times to put them down. Whereas Special Forces guys are shooting the better ammo, and they're like, boom, boom, the guys go down and they don't have to worry about it again. So the regular guys say, this is bullshit. We're having to shoot these dudes 6-7 times. They're still fighting, Why can't we get the good? And they're telling me this, so from overseas. They're like, why can't we get the good ammo? I'm like, man, you just don't rate it. Go to Special Forces Q course or go to Ranger School, whatever. You got to be one of those dudes to get the good ammo. And like, well, it's bullshit. I'm like, I get it, but that's where you're at. So I'm like, okay. So they're like, well, we're trying to kill these bad people, and our ammunition sucks. I'm like, all right. So I'm trying to think outside the box. How can I get these kids the good ammo? So I'm like, look, you got any of the special guys anywhere around, the Air Force PJs, SEALs, Rangers, Green Berets, any of those kind of people around. They're like, yeah, they're on the other side of the base, or we can get on a helicopter there, the next base over, FOB, or wherever. They're close. I'm like, all right. So I go to Sam's Wholesale, talk to the manager, and say, tell me when your stateside Copenhagen comes in. So I'm using donated money from, the people donating to the nonprofit. Pardon me. And I'd walk in and buy $1,000 worth of stateside Copenhagen the day it came in. fresh rolls off, and I would send them a case of, and I'm like, take what you want for your guys, get on that bird and fly over this SF base or this wherever. I know they got the good ammo because that's what they do. So those guys go over there and swap fresh Copenhagen out for good ammo and slay the dragon. So I just try to teach them how to kind of work the system, and they're just like, holy fuck. I'm like, there you go. And so right back to America. That's the way we, you just got to teach them how to work the system. And, that's just one story of many. So
that's very cool. 'Cause there's something that, as like fishermen, and if you've been to Venice, Louisiana, there's a deal where you bring beer, and you can bring the cheapest beer, but if you bring beer, go offshore, and you set them up on the bow of your boat, and go up to those shrimp boats, and they'll be like the Filipinos or Vietnamese. Working. Right. You'll have like 4 or 5 beers set up there. Dude, they're giving you all their bycatch.
Oh yeah, right.
They're giving you their small fit, like their small shrimp. They're giving you sacks of shit for beer.
Yeah,
like the same deal. It's like, I need this to catch snapper and tuna.
Just swap it out.
We traded Dr. Peppers for a 60-pound tuna one time.
Yeah, we did. We did. Like, dude, they threw it off a freaking.
They tied a rope to it.
The Vietnamese family lived next to me, and I used to, Papa San didn't do shit. Mama San cut the grass. She did everything. When he wasn't shrimping, he didn't do nothing but sit around drinking and smoking. That's all he did. So it wasn't no big deal for me to cut my grass. I just keep on cutting an edge right around her yard. And Mama San would come. It was just like the nungs on Gran Torino with Clint Eastwood. She would come over with a tray of shrimp and flounder and just fresh caught,
Yeah.
And so it's pretty cool.
Dude, trade is always awesome. That story, Matthew, I'm literally just had that picture.
That was so good.
They're like, y'all, like, we're like, hey, like, they're catching fish, we're catching fish, but they're on a rig.
Yeah, right.
So
80 foot above us.
We had a contact on this boat reach out, and we're marlin fishing. He said, I spotted some marlin off the boat. Y'all come catch them. There's 3 of them. And he's out there every day. He's watching these fish. He's like, I know this one's coming up over here to feed, this one and this one.
Yeah.
And so he's like, y'all come catch them. He's like, y'all got any Dr. Pepper? And we were like, we had so much shit on this boat. We were like, hell yeah. He's like, all right, bring me some Dr. Pepper. Be my payment.
That's awesome.
We go out there at night. We back down on this drill ship, and the dude throws a bucket on a rope overboard. We grab it with the gaff. We fill it full of Dr. Pepper. Ropes it up, gets up there. Hey, man, y'all want some tuna? Hell yeah. This son of a bitch then pulled out a 60-pound yellowfin that he just caught fresh and ties a rope to its tail.
It
all right, here it comes. Whoosh. Boom. It smacks the water, man. We back down over it, get the gaff, pull that son of a bitch in there. It was crazy, man.
That's awesome,
I
man.
had to show it to you.
Dude,
that's not even close to equal trade.
No, but to them,
you think about
them,
dude.
That's
right.
outrageous.
About the circumstances, dude. This guy was tuna fishing every night. Tuna every night. Like he's out there just tearing them up day in and day out on homemade broomstick jigs. He would take that shit. Probably didn't have a fucking push broom or a mop left without a fucking, just the heads are laying around everywhere because he's cutting them up, wrapping them in foil and putting zip ties on to make them look like flying fish, and he is ripping the tuna every single cast.
That's crazy, man.
What's funny is, like, right after, like, so we were just making trades. Like, he threw us one of those baits, we threw him Dr. Peppers, he threw us a fucking tuna. Ryan just off the rip, I'm talking like off the rip, 2 or 3 cast in, catch like an 80-pound fucking yellowfin on a broomstick.
That's a broomstick.
And I'm like,
he would just bore out the center of them, run his line through there, put a hook on the other end. They were tearing it up.
That's crazy,
dude. Yeah, they're $100 topwater offshore.
Yeah, and he fucking owns Snapper Slapper. I mean, they got baits galore.
Well,
I know,
it's,
but
it's a little bit different deal.
It is different.
That broomstick, though,
to fucking whip out a broomstick.
Yeah, shout out to Night Flight if he listens to this podcast.
Yeah, Night Flight. That dude there is catching tuna on broomsticks.
Tuna on a broomstick.
Yeah.
Like 80 foot above.
That was hilarious, dude. I'll never forget that in my life, the way that dude was just, hey, man, y'all want a tuna? Just a big yellow freaking frayed rope, and here, over the side comes a 60-pounder, slaps the water.
That's awesome.
You out of your mind? That was crazy.
Yes.
But that's hilarious, that Copenhagen story, man. You got to tell the PlayStation.
Oh, yeah. Man, we kind of, and I'll get back to it in just a second, but not to get all preachy and stuff, man, but God has always taken care of me. Yeah, I'm a horrible sinner. Horrible. Good Lord. I hope they let me in just so I'll mop the floor. Whatever. I got a ton of stuff I got to answer for. But God's always looked after me, and I've always known that. And it just kind of gives you a calm peace, So that American Snipers thing, stuff, man, those guys, a lot of times we couldn't send them nothing maybe but a pair of binoculars and a bag of Skittles, and that's it, because that's all we had money for. Sometimes that's just the way it went. Or we would pack boxes with baby wipes, because those guys are in 150-degree heat and can't take a shower. The only way they can, get the funk off of them is with baby wipes, and we sent tons of them over there. But, guys will walk in our booth at SHOT Show, and they'll look up and see our little skull logo with the bullet hole in his head, or whatever, and they remember. And it's been, they were young corporals, privates, young buck sergeants. Now they're either senior NCOs or they're out of the military. And it meant so much to them that, God, let me get emotional. They meant so much to them that somebody here gave a shit. It wasn't what we sent. It was that we sent something. But a lot of times those guys, we completely kidded them out. We had one dude, he was a National Guardsman. He's a firefighter. But when he was in the military, he went to Panama, and he was a sniper in Panama. And he's like, dudes, I got nothing. I said, what do you need? I need optics. What kind of? I got no optics whatsoever. I said, how are you working? He said, I've got a rack grade M14 with open sights. We haven't used that rifle since Vietnam, before the M16 was invented. So they're still issuing those because of the heavier ballistic capabilities. And I'm like, how are you working? He's like, my partner has to pop up with his cell phone, take a picture of this guy, blow it up to see if he's got a weapon, and then we try to engage him with open sights. I said, okay.
That's
That's
pathetic.
Okay, but he's a National Guard guy. He's like, I'm like, what's your boss like? He's like, my boss is fucking great. We just don't have any money. I'm like, okay. Man, I get on a mission. I go get this guy everything he needs. And we're not violating ITAR, which we're not sending stuff that, we're sending packs and stuff that we're not sending weapons, not sending ammo, not sending, stuff that's going to get us in trouble. But everything else he needs, we can send. So we're like, hooking this guy up. And he's like, fuck, man. He said, me and my partner outside the wire every fucking day. And my boss is great. And they're just like, this guy's got a National Guard guy, and he's got more confirmed kills than a lot of fully trained school trained guys. So you can't really lump people into, it's just like life in general. You can't really lump people into groups. Everybody's got their own story. Everybody's got their own. You can't just judge somebody on, I'm a National Guard guy. Oh, well, you're not like a real soldier. Well, some of those dudes got more time than, anyway, I'll let that go. Point being, we've had guys walk in the SHOT Show in our booth and see us and just drop their ruck and start bawling. It's happened so much now. We know what it is when we see it. At first, we're like, holy shit, what's going on? And guys just come up and hug us. They're like, hey, man, the stuff you guys sent me, I had a 1-year-old kid that I'd never seen. I would have never seen him without the stuff you guys sent me. That shit saved my life. The equipment you sent me saved my life. Numerous, and it happens a lot. We hear this story over and over and over and over again, and that's why we keep doing it. But one story, there's a Marine. He's a buddy of mine now. Actually lives close to here. I didn't know he did, but he does. And his wife called me out of the blue, and she goes, hey, Lance, they hit an IED, and it blew his iPro off. It blew his Oakley's off. Have you got a connection with Oakley? And I'd been talking to her for a while and getting him some stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I got an Oakley connection. I'll get him some new iPro. And she started laughing. She said, I got to get him a new Sony PlayStation. And I said, what are you talking about? She goes, well, he took our daughter's PlayStation over to Iraq to play video game. He took all our video games and PlayStation over there when he ain't fucking killing bad guys. He's playing Sony on his PlayStation. And I'm not, that's you guys there, not mine. I don't even know. I had 22 rifles, my PlayStation. So anyway, I'm like, let me get it. Let me buy him one. And she goes, no, that ain't what you guys do. And I'll find him one, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, no. I said, I'm going to get him fucking play. No. And we went, and I'm not one to be denied. I'm going to stick to my guns, Well, she's like, okay. Well, that was the year that the new Xbox came out, whatever. It was the newest thing. Couldn't find one. So here I am. It's getting close to Christmas time. and I'm big talker Betty Crocker, and no, I'm getting desperate. I mean, I'm going to go hire a burglar to steal one of them some bitches, because I mean, I'm not going to let her down after putting on that big mouth of mine, running my head. So she calls me up and she goes, "Hey." I said, "Hey, girl." She goes, "What's up with the PlayStation?" I said, "Girl, I can't find one." I said, "I've looked in the pawn shop. I can't find one anywhere. Can't order one. Can't find one." She goes, "Yeah, I have the same problem." She said, "I'm just busting your ass." I said, "Look, don't worry about it. Something happened. It always does." She goes, "Oh, I ain't worried about it. Whatever." The next day, I'm sitting there, phone rings. "Hello?" I said, "Hello." It's, I was at work, and doing a cop thing. And she's like, this lady's like, "Are you the guy that helps the snipers?" I said, "Yes, ma'am, one of them." And she goes, "Well, my son was coming home from Iraq through Germany. He got killed. He was my only son. He got killed in a car crash on the Autobahn." And I said, "Oh, man, I'm sorry." I'm just like heartbroken for her, and she's crying and stuff. And she's like, "Look, I've got all of his things." She said, "I've got all these scary looking knives and, his brand new BDU clothes and all this stuff, his equipment. His dad and I divorced when he was young, and he was my only kid. And I don't have a need for all that stuff. And I don't want to really look at all that stuff. Can you use it?" And the vast majority of the stuff we needed, And I said, "Yes, ma'am, sure." So we exchanged addresses and everything. And we said our goodbyes and everything. I started to hang up. She's still talking. I said, "Ma'am, you still there?" And she goes, "Yeah." She goes, This may not mean nothing to you, but you don't need a brand new Sony PlayStation, do you?"
Wow.
True story. On my
be
parents'
damned.
ashes. Well, not only did he have a PlayStation, he had every game ever invented for the damn thing. He had a brand new Xbox. He had a brand new GameCube. Is that what? Yeah, and he had like all of the
GameCube was probably like the newest thing.
Then
at the time.
this was then, yeah.
Like, yeah,
and,
at
but
the
but he
time,
had
that
all of that because he was the only child, and apparently they covered the kid up with good. I don't know what his military specialty was or nothing, but it didn't matter. And so I wound up. He got the PlayStation and all the games, and then I sent that other stuff to other units all throughout the damn theater because he had a ton of stuff. But stuff like that happens all the time. We had a Marine call me one time. He's like, "Hey, man, we need knives over here." I'm like, "What kind of knife?" He's like, "Any kind of knife. You can't just go to Walmart or Academy and buy a knife over here. We break our pocket knives trying to open stuff and whatever." I'm like, "Man, I can send you one I got in my pocket, but that's all I got, 3 days later, some guy called me from Georgia. He's like, "Hey, man, I got a gun shop down here and we ain't going to make it. We're going bankrupt. We're going to close the son of a bitch. But, man, I got 12 K-bars. You want them?" It just keeps happening over and over. And every time I think we're out of money or whatever, God shows up.
Comes back around.
Just like Lieutenant Dan, God shows up, Forrest Gump. I mean, because I don't know how many times we've been down to, hey, we're going to have to close the doors on this because we just don't have money and we're not rich people or nothing and people aren't donating or whatever. And some oil executive from Shell will call me and go, "Hey, man, you guys still running that thing?" I'm like, "Yeah." Well, I'm pro-military. I'm Republican, and I work for Shell Oil, and I need the write-off. We're a legitimate 501c3. He'll cut us a check for $10,000. And this one guy did it 6 years running. On December the 31st at 8 o'clock at night, cut us a check for $10,000. Just keeps it going, it just keeps, so on and on and on. I could sit there all night talking about stories like that, where it just keeps, but that's a God thing, and it just doing the right thing for the right reasons. And, a lot of people ask us, how much money are you guys getting out of this? And not one penny. We don't have all of our overhead costs are donated. Like our IT work, all our computer stuff's donated by, patriotic Americans. The closest thing we'll come to taking a penny is wearing one of our own ball caps to advertise. And that's why everybody likes us because they know we're not stealing. We're a true nonprofit. And if they want to see where their money goes, all they got to do is go online and look,
Yeah.
So
you can't toss around like nonprofit in the way you used to be able to. Like Rolex is a nonprofit.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
the fact that it is a true to the word nonprofit.
Right.
Yeah.
And I made it. A lot of people are like, "Man, why don't you quit your job and do that full time? You could raise a ton more money." And it's absolutely the truth. But it's a bad optic. And I've already made the commitment that nobody draws a salary. Nobody will ever draw a salary. And I'm not going to go back on my word. So even though I could raise more money if I did that, God's got this.
You also, though, I've literally met you today. You seem like a person that also likes to help people face to face. That's why that's why you're in that field of work that you're doing.
Yeah, 100%.
Like,
yeah.
you're just a helpful person. You want to help people. You've said you wanted to do it since you were a child, and now you're doing it.
Yeah, and that's on an international level there.
Yeah.
But it's not just me, dude. There's like 40 people involved in that thing now. And
well, I'm just saying, like, but like I feel like you probably couldn't quit what you're doing. I mean, you're 61.
Yeah.
Right now,
I'll be doing it for a while.
You've been doing it. You're in law enforcement,
right?
And that's what your living is made off of,
right?
And then helping everybody else.
I'm good. No, thank you, brother. No, I'm good.
No, I'm Gucci, bro. No,
man, it just those little things like, you know, like say when those guys walk in your booth and just start crying. These dudes, I'm talking about dudes with extremely high numbers that have never been heard of in war, in modern era. And when I say numbers, I'm talking about engagements, you know, and those guys just, you know, walk up and hug you and start crying. I mean, it's pretty cool. You know, I mean, it's
that's very cool.
But
that's very cool.
And it's some of the best Americans that this country's ever produced, you know. And then you watch the news and stuff, and it's just like, you know, can't watch too much of that. So
no, dude, I try to keep myself just enough in it to know what's happening.
Right.
But I don't,
right.
Dude. It's just it's honestly, I feel like it's bad for your health.
Yeah, right.
Like you start stressing about it, or you get mad about one side doing this or this side doing that, or whatever the fuck. This is like, bro.
No, I got you. I'm with you on that.
It's a bad climate. You know, you have to do more now to get all the information. It's just tough.
I don't really deal with the politics. You know, I'm a police officer, not a politician. You know, there's nothing, in my opinion, there's not much any more useless than the politician.
Yeah, and that's all we need to say about that.
Yeah, that's all he said.
Yeah, it is literally.
So,
that's it.
Yeah, I mentioned being fake, and there's nothing fake about me. But.
Nope, not for us on the Bayou Dragons podcast.
No.
But we talked earlier, man, about your career, the progress you made, and then, you know, the step you took out of law enforcement and then back into law enforcement. Like, what do you have for the future? What do you have planned? Do you have, you know, do you have any goals set for, you know, what's next, or are you just kind of rolling with the flow?
Well, man, to be honest with you, I was kind of rolling with the flow. I've got a pretty good job where I'm at. I like it. You know, good pay, decent benefits, that kind of thing. I've gotten numerous job offers from different entities, and a lot of that stuff is shiny and pretty, and it seems really cool, but I've been there too, and sometimes the grass ain't always greener. So I'm just kind of trying to maintain that. I don't know what the future holds, man. You know, and not to talk politics, but watching the news right now, I'm afraid. You know, a lot of people are like, "Hey, man, we're not at war anymore. What are you guys spending your money on now? We're not at war." Well, we're almost exclusively, as we speak, supporting U.S. Army Special Forces in their mission, and those guys are. You know, those guys' mission is they call them special forces for a reason. Most of the time, those guys are spending far more amount of time training indigenous troops to be self-sufficient rather than, you know, the high speed, blah, blah. They know how to do all that stuff, but their main job is to teach other people how to do that stuff. And even they are hurting for gear, whereas they never have been before. So that's our primary focus. But I just have a feeling, and I had this conversation with the money guy, one of the guys that handles the most of the money with the organization, everything in the IRS stuff and all the tax stuff. I said, "Hey man, unless somebody really needs something bad, let's try to build our coffers up a little bit, because I got a feeling we're fixing to have some guys that need us, you know, and
some stuff building up,
and you know, that's really where my focus is at currently." You know, and there ain't no shortage of stupid people, bro. I tell people, in a Judeo-Christian belief system, which most of us are, again, not to get preachy, and I tell people this all the time, especially in the police academy when I was teaching, of the first 4 people on this earth, 2 of them were involved in a domestic violence homicide. Cain and Abel. You know, and it ain't much change. It ain't going to change till Jesus comes back. So I'll have a job until, you know, there is no shortage of stupid people.
So you don't want to quit working. You don't want to quit doing what you're doing now.
You know, man, to be honest with you, I'm getting tired of looking at wounded, dead human beings. 35 years is enough. But I don't know what I'm going to do. You know, what else am I going to do? That's what I do. So, I mean, you know,
you want to be a Bayou Dragon?
Yeah,
I mean,
I
will take you, bro.
bro. I mean, I don't even know.
You can be the first Bayou Dragon on a full payroll. I mean, I'm willing to go with that.
Yeah,
Shit, throw
man.
you on a podcast. Well, you know.
Just being in front of people all the time, teaching. I ran the academy for years, and teaching sniper schools and stuff. Being in front of a mic or a camera doesn't bother me at all. It's just kind of a.
I was going to say that, and we talked about it before, but like you're very well spoken in a mic, and you said you've been on Fox News, you've been on big.
I've been on the national news once, Vegas for about 3 or 4 years running. You can find it if you go looking for it. Fox in Vegas had us out there, talking about American snipers. Back when that was people still cared about the war, But again, just being in front of people talking is
not hard.
It's not hard for me because I do it a lot.
There's a lot more. There's a lot better things.
If you can teach cops, if you can teach cops, you can teach anybody because them guys think they know it all anyway. So you know how cops are, but anyway.
Yeah, I mean, so there's a lot better things to be scared of than talking in front of people.
Yeah, a lot of people can't do that. It's just not. It's not for them. But
that's a dumb thing to me. I don't know, and maybe it's just we're exposed to that a little bit more. But yeah, people always tell me
it's just.
Maybe it just seems silly at this point. Everybody deals with their own insecurities and stuff, but like, you think about it, you really put it into perspective. Like, there's so much more that's out there to be worried about than just talking in front of people.
Right.
And most people are like real big on social media nowadays. They're posting their photos every day, or they're
from behind the screen. They're not.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, I don't have. You mentioned the word insecurities. I just don't have many of those.
I guess
I've got a couple, and I'm not going to talk about what they are because I don't want to give anybody ammunition against me. But I'll tell you guys one-on-one what they are because it's probably the same ones you have.
Well, I don't know what to say that hasn't already been said, man. It's been a wonderful episode. Brian, thank you so much, man, for taking the time to come out, man. I heard you heard about the show through the grapevine, and like you said, you've known us. I have a challenge coin that you issued to me 7 years ago after Hurricane Harvey. And I pulled that out and showed it to you earlier. I thought that was cool, man. As soon as I heard you were coming, I grabbed that thing out of my truck and put it in my pocket. But
that was cool,
man. We really appreciate having you on, man. And you're just as many interesting people as we have on this show. You have got some stories, man.
We could sit here for 20 hours and not fill all these stories.
Yeah, I tell people, like, leading into the show, I was really excited to get to sit down and talk with you and pick your brain because I haven't had that opportunity, like, in passing when we've spent time together and all that. And so it's been really fun, man, and I'm glad, we got the opportunity to have you on, brother.
I mean, you guys are, 29 years old. I'm going on, almost 2.5 times that. So you guys will have your own stories to tell. I was talking about on the break, as you get older, your focus changes, on things. The things that really, really matter just really kind of, man, it's almost like cranking your parallax knob on your scope, or your magnification up on your scope. You feel the view narrows and you just really focus on the stuff that really matters, and it's kind of a weird reflective time because I don't feel old. I don't really act old. I don't really feel old, but I am old. Man, I'm dying to get on the bronc horse right now. I used to ride bareback horses back in the day, and I loved it. And everybody said, man, you got a ton of natural ability. You just need to get on more horses. But I started shooting competitively at the same time, And right now, I just absolutely chomping at the bit to get on a saddle bronc horse or a bareback horse. But it's just stupid.
I was going to say, do you want to?
Absolutely, I want to.
I got a guy.
No, dude, that's not a problem.
Joel Piku would.
I know Joel very well.
Joel will let you get on one real quick.
I got one 200 yards that way that'll empty out your fucking pockets.
Well, I get that.
Just like Chris Kyle, he'll fucking shake the dimes out of your pockets, boy.
And I miss it, bro. I mean, there ain't nothing like getting in a time with one of them big old horses, It's just, unless you've never done it, it's just... last one I got on, I had that bitch rode, and she fell on me, broke my ribs, and they kicked me in the face. But, I mean, you just got to be a different person.
You know what that did, though? It built the shit out of your character.
I guess, man. I don't know, But, funny story, man. I was at a rodeo one year, and a little guy named Howdy Cloud, his daddy's name is Randy Cloud, Y'all know Howdy? Howdy Cloud? You ever heard of him?
I feel like I would know. That's not a name I'd forget.
Yeah, Howdy was when Howdy was little. He was like 4, and he had a pair of his. I was at the rodeo, and he had a pair of his daddy's a bull riding sumbitch. I watched him steer dog a runaway bareback horse. Had a guy hung up to him. I watched Randy jump out and grab that horse by the head and throw him down. You just did not want to fight that dude. And but Howdy is his son. So I'm bouncing Howdy on my leg. He got on a pair of his daddy's bull spurs. And he starts booting my leg, and I'm like, oh shit, he's cutting my leg with his spurs because his daddy's a good bull. So I'm handing him off to his mom. I'm like, take this rascal, So man, 20 years go by, and I'm thumbing through the road, and I'm watching the National Finals Rodeo, and here Howdy Cloud. The little kid went pro, and he's riding the NFR. And the last time I saw him, he was cutting my leg up with his daddy's bull spurs. He was 4 years old, So you look back, man, and it's just different. I don't feel old. I don't act old. I don't really even think old, but I am old. And it's like, right now, I want to get on the back, and it's just not smart. I'm like, okay, I'm going to be sitting in a wheelchair drooling out of my mouth, and who's going to be feeding me? So, I probably won't do it, but man, it's just, Cody Johnson nailed that one, dude, with that Deer Rodeo song. At first I thought it was kind of corny, but then I got to listen to it. I'm like, you pretty much knocked that one out of the park if you ever rodeoed, but anyway.
Dude.
So, I appreciate you guys having me on. I talked to Mitch about it, I thought, man, those guys are me when I was that age, a little bit different, but kind of not, modern day. We didn't have all this back then, but I was telling Mitch earlier, I see a whole lot of myself and my brother and my family in y'all, So
I'll take that as a compliment.
I think y'all are killing it, man. I just keep doing what you're doing, man. I'm proud as hell just to.
We're lucky we're lucky to live in this time where we can share and people get to enjoy what we do. I mean, that's basically all we are. Is basically posting what we do and people enjoy it.
Well, it just seems nowadays, man, there's such a lack of basic respect for other people. It's just, I don't know, it's just a weird time in the country. But then you run across, good people like you guys or whatever, and it kind of restores your faith in humanity, But anyway, I'm rambling again. But thank y'all so much for letting me hang out and give me a cold beer and a hot steak. I mean, that don't get no better than that.
Dude, yeah, and the Astros are winning right now, 10-3.
Damn!
The Astros
it was 3-3 the last time.
No, 10-3. It's going to the bottom of the 8th. Gang shit, boy.
I'll bet 20 on the Rangers for you, Porter.
No, shut
Just
up.
kidding. That's a bet. That's a terrible bet.
Man. That's been interesting too, man. They're scrappy, but you got to give it to them.
Porter's fired up,
dude. I'm about to go home and just finish this game out. Just really freaking rocked up, bro.
I didn't realize they were playing again tonight.
Yeah, they are.
I thought they were on a break.
I got a coworker who's just sick right now, Rangers fan. He's at the game.
Dude, you know what? I hope he gets the common cold after this game.
I just hope they let them play in Arlington. Don't let them come home. Them some bitches get their ass whipped.
I guarantee you, down 10-3. I know he's at the stadium just polluted right now.
Polluted.
Dude.
Polluted. I can't believe that guy made you guys laugh.
Dude,
like that.
Brian, thank you for that word, polluted. Because we used tarnished, we used trashed, we used tanked, we used tossed. We used I'm talking.
That's old school, man.
Dude, we use everything under but polluted.
I know, man. I got universal praise out of that. I was like, what the hell?
That will be.
I'm dating myself, man. Everything's good. Y'all be wearing bell bottoms next week, So.
Dude, I'll fuck it. I'll do it. I don't
already
care.
Wearing them right now. Look at them.
Dude, straight up.
There you go.
Dude, Brian, for sure we're going to have to, if you allow us, I would love to have you on again in the future.
Man, anytime.
And I would love to, honestly, next time we're going to schedule it where we have like Warhola so he can ask you a little bit. I mean, I feel like we, had really good conversation, but I think Ryan could ask you some.
He can narrow it down a little bit.
He can narrow it down a little bit more. He knows it a little bit better than us,
Right.
We came into this blind,
Yeah, I had no clue.
Just a bunch of gun-toting rednecks is all.
Basically.
Me too.
Yeah. Mitch just said this dude was a sniper or he's a sniper. Like, I literally had no clue. I just knew you were
a badass.
The old Shannon's uncle.
Man.
I knew you were Shannon's uncle, and I was like,
that's it. That's good. That's perfect, man. She's one of the best kids. Yeah,
dude.
I'm proud of her. More proud of her than anything I ever did. Shannon's awesome. Yeah.
She
whole
is,
family, her whole family. My brother is he's one of a kind. His whole family. But anyway, man, I appreciate the kind words, and I don't do real well with compliments, but I thank y'all. You guys are doing great shit too. You know, it's just like I said, it's all about America, bro. That's it. You know,
Fuck yeah.
Everybody's trying to make it and doing their part. You know.
hell yeah.
All right, man.
Let's
All right,
end.
we
Let's
really,
end on
really
that.
enjoyed it, guys. Thank y'all for tuning in. YouTube.com/Bayou Dragons. You can find us on Spotify,
Apple.
Samsung, anywhere you get your podcast, guys. If you made it this far, we really appreciate the love. As always, we'll see you guys in the next episode. And FSTF, AmericanSnipers.org. Thanks, Brian, for coming on, man.
Right on. Thank you.